This right now, you probably own a phone, and if you stopped watching TikTok all day, you could easily start making $500 to $600 every single day with just 4 to 5 hours of work. This is not a scam. It's not going to be really easy money. It's not passive income, but I can guarantee you can start making money this week, and I can prove it. Now, there's these huge companies that make a ton of money, and they need your help, and they're willing to spend a lot of money to get you to help them. All you need to do is basically just send out DMs for the company on their behalf. If you send out messages on Facebook and Instagram, you should be able to get about 4 people interested every single day. Usually they're willing to give you about $100 to $200, sometimes $300 per person that you get interested. So per call that you bring them, per appointment you bring them, they're willing to give you about $150 per appointment. And so that equates to about $600 to $800 every single day. But why would these companies actually even pay you $150 per person that's interested? Well, usually on average, they make about $10,000 to $30,000 per client that they get through this process. And so if you help them with the process, they're obviously willing to give you $150 to help them make $30,000 profit. And I'm going to show you exactly how to find these companies that are actually interested in this service and how to start working with them. Now, there's a huge opportunity when it comes to sending out DMs, and no one's talking about it. I know Gary Vee used to say it a long time ago, but no one's really talking about it right now. I've sent out tens of thousands of DMs, and I've made over $1 million using these processes. But how do we actually make money doing this? Well, I'm going to break down the math so it's really simple. You know how every single day they say that you see about 5,000 different marketing messages every single day. I'm sure you've received cold calls and you've received cold emails, and you kind of just scroll past the cold emails and hang up the cold calls. But my thought was always, why do people actually even do this? This doesn't actually work. Like, no one's actually ever buying anything from all these advertising that they do. But then I realized, I've bought 1 or 2 things from an advertisement one time or another. So I looked at the numbers. On average, if you're doing cold calls, you'll get about 10 to 15% of people picking up the phone. So out of every 100 calls you do, only 10 people are going to pick up. But one of those 10 people are going to be interested. And so for every 100 calls that they do, they might get 1 person interested. It's kind of similar with email. Email, you'll get about 30, 40% of people opening the email and actually reading it. But only 1% of people will actually click through and purchase something from the email or respond to the email, usually a 1 to 2% response rate. But with Facebook and Instagram DMs, we can get about 10% of people responding to us, and we can get 5% of people interested in our service. And so we can get a lot more people from Facebook and Instagram DMs. So obviously that makes perfect sense. Why don't these huge companies just start sending out a ton of DMs? Well, these social media platforms really don't like when a ton of companies send out DMs, and so that's why they try to limit it. Obviously, because it works so well, Coca-Cola would love to send you a DM every 10 seconds saying buy another Coke. But we've all received spam messages, and it kind of hurts the user experience. So Facebook and Instagram, they try to limit the amount of spam that happens on the platform. They just try to shut down these strategies of people trying to do mass DMs or automated DMs, right? And so sometimes it works, but for the most part, if you're trying to do thousands and thousands and thousands, it's really hard because Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, they all make it extremely hard to do mass DMs. Now, we've all received these spammy messages, but usually they say, hey, we can give you 10,000 followers, or use this thing to learn how to do Bitcoin, right? Usually it's all fake, and we can tell it's fake, right? And they never really work. So basically, if these big companies try to send out tens of thousands of messages, they just get shut down very quickly. So that's why they need you. They can't do it themselves. They need warm bodies, people that have accounts that can send out a couple messages every single day and do it for them. Because the best way to not get banned on Instagram or Facebook is just be a real person. If it's a bot account, Facebook and Instagram can usually notice it pretty quickly, and they shut down the bot accounts. But you're not a bot, and you don't have a bot account. And so if you just use your personal account, or you even just create a fake account, but still you, a human, managing that fake account, it's a lot more likely to not get banned. It's a lot more likely to go into the inbox, not going into the spam folder, and you're way more likely to get a ton more replies if you look like a real person and you don't look like a spam account. It's kind of like doing user-generated content, like, UGC, where people will make content about a product or a service, right? But you don't have to actually make any content. You're just sending out messages on behalf of another company through your profile rather than posting content on your profile. Now, the thing is, you might think, well, I've never actually responded to any of these spam messages that I've received. Well, that's because it looks like a spam message, right? I don't really respond to any spam messages either. I only respond when it looks like it's a real person reaching out to me, and also if it's a unique approach. And so if we go in with a unique strategy, we're going to get a lot more responses. So instead of a long message about how I should buy Bitcoin from a scam account, what if I received a message from a real human, right? And it said, hey, can I partner with you on something? I just want to see if I can work with you, right? You're way more likely to respond to that than something about Bitcoin. Or instead of receiving a huge long message about how to do Forex trading, instead I receive a voice note. Someone saying, hey Carson, I just want to see if I can work with you. Let me know if you can chat sometime this week, right? I'm gonna be way way more responsive to someone sending me a voice note than just something about Forex, you know, or even sending a video to somebody. I did this strategy recently where I printed out someone's profile photo and I made a video saying, hey, I just want to talk to you. I printed out this photo because I love what you do. And then I was able to get a ton of booked calls from that. I only sent like 30 messages. I got a 20% response rate and a 15% booking rate. I got 4 booked calls just sending 30 messages. I get a lot more people interested because my messages are more interesting. So if you want to actually get responses, we just have to stand out from the crowd just a little bit, right? If I just send a voice note, it looks a lot different than just a really long message. If I send a video, I'm always going to open the video. I have to open the video. I even know people that were sending out voice messages to people, but they were using Donald Trump's like AI voice. And so they were sending out these messages, getting way more replies using Obama's voice or Trump's voice. You can even use this with Riz, okay? I used this exact DM, this strategy to DM a girl that I liked. And now we've been dating for about a year now. So for anyone that's out there that needs some help, trust me, I can help you. I've actually helped some of my other friends get a girlfriend just using my DM strategies. I'm not even kidding. Now, who can actually do this? Literally anyone. You could be 14 years old. You can be in India. It does not matter. I know people in the United States and they're making $10,000 to $50,000 a month using this strategy. And I also know people in India making the same amount of money doing the exact same strategies. It's not really about where you're located. It's really just about the value that you can provide. If you can give me appointments and I can make $10,000 per appointment that you send me, I'm obviously going to pay you $150. I don't mind paying you for that appointment, right? So whoever can provide the value, I'm willing to pay it. Now, how do we get companies interested, or what kind of companies do we want to reach out to? Usually you want to reach out to B2B companies. This is a business targeting another business. I'll get into that in a second. Or online coaches and consultants. Usually we just want to target anyone that's selling something online for usually $2,000 or more. Because if they're paying $100, $200, $300 per appointment, obviously it needs to be worth it for them. They need to be charging $2,000 to $10,000 to $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 per client that they get. There are people that charge that much, you know, depending on the service that they're providing. And then I do know some people that are charging $300 to $500 per appointment. I know people that are charging $1,000 per appointment per person that's interested. Getting away with charging $1,000 per appointment and making the company pay up front. You have to pay for 10 leads up front, which means you got to pay me $10,000 up front, and then I'll start getting you leads, you know, which is really cool. Obviously, it depends on, you can't charge that much unless you're providing that value, right? So if a client is making, some companies, they make $100,000 per client that they get. And so they're willing to spend $1,000 to make $100,000. So some industries that work good, staffing companies make about $10,000 to $30,000 for a staffing contract. A marketing agency might make $1,000 to $3,000 per client per month. Business brokers can make tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars per deal that they get. Okay, what about, is this actually real? How can I do it? And then how can I actually get clients myself? Okay, I'm gonna show you a real life example. I just had my friend Garrett do some outreach for me, and he started sending voice notes to marketing and staffing agencies on Facebook. He started sending these messages out, was sending about 50 per day, just sending a voice note saying, hey, I just want to see if I could get you more leads, and I'll show you the script in a second. Then we would tell the prospect that it's $150 per appointment. So when he's sending out messages consistently every single day on Facebook, he gets about 2 sales calls per day. And if he added Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, we can obviously get a lot more appointments, right? If we add 3 different channels, we can get 6 calls a day at $150 per appointment. Now, I took on 2 of the calls that he actually booked for me, and one of the guys wasn't really interested. I think he was looking for a job. It was a little weird, but the other guy was actually very interested. His name was John, and he actually has a staffing business in the Philippines and makes a ton of money doing that in the Philippines. And I told him, hey, it's $150 per appointment. He signed the agreement, and now we're working with him. That took 3 days of him doing outreach. So it was like Tuesday doing outreach, Wednesday doing outreach, Thursday I had a call with John, Friday he signs the agreement, right? That easy. And here's the thing, I'm not even going to do the outreach for him, okay? I'm just going to hire someone else to do the outreach for me. And so you can easily get somebody, and you can tell them, hey, if you do this for me, I'll give you $50 per appointment, right? And so if I can get a client at $150 per appointment and I hire somebody else to do it for $50 per appointment, then I make $100 every appointment that they get, right? And so if I tell somebody, hey, I'll help you make $200 a day, you just got to book me 4 appointments every single day, right? And if they're actually willing to do the work, you can hire people in the Philippines, in India, in South America, or even in the United States. Anyone in the United States would be willing to work for $200 a day, right? Someone that's just sitting, if you just sit on, all you gotta do is sit on your phone, lay in bed, and just do this little work, right? For 5 hours a day. Anyone's willing to do that. So if you charge $150 per appointment, they book you 4 appointments, you pay them $50 per appointment. That means you make about $400 profit, and you pay them about $200 to help you book the appointments. And again, you had to do 0 work. So here's the thing, it's really simple, right? It's pretty easy to understand. It's not hard at all. It's just boring, okay? It just takes time. You can't sit on TikTok and do this at the same time like you can do at most of your other jobs. I remember remember when I was first starting doing this and I was doing videography and I was trying to get videography clients. I sent like 5 messages and I was like, dang, this sucks. And then I just stopped doing it, right? And that was like when I first started. And then I realized I could do it more and more and more. And then once I actually started doing it more, sending like 30 to 50 messages a day, I started getting appointments and clients. And I was like, wait, okay, the more I do, obviously the more I make. Now, when you first start, if you don't actually start with like doing it for 5 days solid in a row, and you actually send 50 messages a day, you're not going to see the fruit of your labor. You're going to send out 5 and realize, oh, I didn't get any responses. And so you have to realize that only about 10% of people are going to respond, or even when you're starting, maybe only 5% of people are going to respond. Like the first day I had Garrett come over and help me with this process. He came over, I said, hey, here's the training videos, here's how to do them. I want you to watch these training videos and then I'll come back here when I'm done, right? So I had him sit in the other room. I did my sales calls with people. And then 6 hours later, I go back into the room and I say, hey, so how's the training going? You know, it was like 2 30-minute videos that you had to watch. He's like, oh, I started one, but then I got distracted and I was on TikTok for the last 6 hours, dude. So he spent the entire day on TikTok, which made me realize that a lot of people, they do have a hard time just sitting and working for literally 20 minutes. Like in 20 minutes, you can send out 10 messages and probably get 1 or 2 responses, right? But you probably won't even sit for 20 minutes. You'll sit for 2 minutes on something and then go on TikTok and you're like, oh, there goes 20 minutes of my life, you know? So I realized most people need an exact step-by-step process to actually get started. And so I'm going to give you an exact step-by-step process right now. On Facebook and Instagram, we can send about 10 messages per hour and about 50 messages per day. And so we don't really want to go past that limit. On Twitter, we can do like 400 per day if you're verified. On LinkedIn, you can only do about 20 per day. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to get up tomorrow and you're going to do nothing else. You're not going to have a morning routine, not going to do anything else. You're going to get up and you're going to find staffing agencies, marketing agencies, PR firms, coaches, and consultants on Facebook first. There's plenty of Facebook groups around all these different niches. You're going to send 10 Facebook messages. These can be voice notes, can be videos, just something unique, not the same thing that everybody else is doing, okay? It should take you 15, maybe 20 minutes to send 10 messages. That's 1 message every 2 minutes. Then we go to Instagram. We do 10 more on Instagram. Then we go to Twitter or LinkedIn and do 10 on LinkedIn or Twitter. And then we do that for every platform and we personalize each one of them, right? So that means we should have sent 30 messages within an hour. We then repeat the process again and again and again for about 5 hours, right? Which means at the end of 5 hours, we should have sent 150 messages throughout the entire day. If you've sent 150 personalized messages in one day, you will guaranteed have booked calls coming in. Well, what do we actually say in these messages? How do I start working with the company or get them interested in the service? So I'm going to give you an exact step-by-step script right now. Let's just say we're sending a voice note. Here's what we would say. Hey, first name, I love what you're doing at your company. I want to see if you're open to a simple partnership. I've got a system I'm using right now to get about 40 appointments per month using some of these direct outreach strategies. I want to see if I can test it out for your company. You don't have to pay me anything up front. I just want to see if I can work with you maybe long term. Let me know if you're free to chat sometime this week. You can send that as a voice note, a video, a love letter, whatever you want. Just be kind of creative so it looks a little different than everybody else. Again, we can send 150 messages in 5 hours, which is still less than an entire workday. You just have to actually sit and focus and do it for 5 hours, okay? And you don't have to do it 5 hours in a row. You can do it 1 hour right now, you can do it 1 hour at lunch, and then an hour in the afternoon, an hour at night, whatever. And you can still get out 150 messages in your day. And how hard has it ever been to DM somebody? Not hard at all. It's very easy, okay? It's just a little time consuming to find someone and then just message, then find someone, then message. You can literally do this in your bed. You can be lazy. You just have to stay focused on it. You can't just go onto TikTok, okay? That's the only thing. You just have to stay focused. I swear, it is this easy. Okay, I only sent like 5 or 10 messages until I got my first client. I'm not even kidding. It was to a guy named Lucas Zeiler, and I said, hey, would you be open to working together? Do you need help with your Instagram? You know, I was trying to sell him some sort of Instagram service, and he became my first client. Started paying me $3,000 a month, okay? And so it was that easy, just sending like 10 messages, but it took me months just to send 10. So that's literally it. If you want me to help you start this type of business, we have calls every single day. I will help you set up systems where it'll automate sending out these messages. I have a whole course on how to automate all these strategies and get 120 sales calls per day for yourself and for your clients. I'll help you create the offer, I'll help you find the clients, and we give you access to the automation tools for completely free. And I guarantee you'll have appointments or clients coming in the door within the first 2 weeks, guaranteed. So if you're interested in that, you can book a call with me below. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon.